Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Burns and we're here to do another WWE review. It's episode 2 of WWE Reviews with Tom Burns, and we're reviewing what happened on Monday Night Raw yesterday. One of the best Raws I've seen in a long time, and you'll see why as I keep going through what happened. But without further ado, let's get started. So the show started with Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler coming out, insulting the Shield, saying all sorts of shit, and just boring, really. Not because I don't like them. It was just boring in general because it was expected. It's what was expected, at least from me. I knew they were going to be coming out on Raw at the start, bragging about what they did to the Shield last week, blah blah blah. Well, that went on for a little while, and the Shield music hit. They came out, and as they were coming out, Baron Corbin came out, tried to get all the WWE superstars out into the ring to stop the Shield and Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler fighting. Didn't work. They ended up fighting anyway, and ended up fighting, and then it went into the commercial. And when it came back, it was showing the Shield being put in the back of a police van after being arrested. Now, I have no idea why they were arrested. I don't know what happened during the commercial break. I know it's all part of the storyline, but I don't understand why they were arrested. But Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman and Dolph Ziggler, who were doing just as much destruction, didn't get arrested. So I don't know what the Shield did extra to get arrested, or if I know it's part of the story, but to a certain extent, a storyline has to make sense, and that for me didn't make sense. Anyway, so that happened, and during the night we kept getting updates about what was happening with the Shield, but I'll get back to what happened with the Shield later on. So the first match is the return of the Bella Twins, who are facing Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan of the Riot Squad. The Bella Twins looked like they hadn't missed a beat. They both looked absolutely amazing in the ring. Neither of them had been in the ring since the Royal Rumble in January, and that wasn't even a proper match. That's just a match where you try and throw people over the top rope, so you can't really class that. Neither of them have been in a proper match since, Brie Bella hadn't been in a match for quite a while because she'd had a baby, and Nikki hadn't been in a match since WrestleMania 30. Was it 3? Yeah, WrestleMania 33, where she teamed with her partner John Cena to face The Miz and Maurice. So it'd been a while for both of them, but they didn't look like they missed a beat. It was an amazing match. They both looked amazing, and it ended up being the Bella Twins defeating the Riot Squad in a match that I'm going to give a good 5 out of 10. Now, you might be wondering, Tom, you've just said it was an amazing match, that the Bella Twins were amazing. Yeah, they were, but to give a match like a rating of 8, 9 out of 10, it's got to be absolutely out of this world. And there was a few mistakes. Brie Bella tried to go for a suicide dive a few times. She fucked up the first. Well, the first one was supposed to be Sarah Logan reversing it and hitting her with a punch. Brie Bella ended up fucking it up, and they made out that Sarah Logan connected with a punch, but she didn't. Not until at least Brie Bella was on the floor on the outside. Then the second suicide dive was supposed to be a suicide dive on Sarah Logan and Ruby Riott on the outside. She went to do the suicide dive. It wasn't reversed or anything like that, but she caught her feet in the ropes because she didn't do a proper dive and ended up nearly fucking breaking her neck. She didn't. She's fine, obviously, but it was a big fuck up. So that's why I'm not giving it any more than 5 out of 10, even though they looked amazing in the ring. Minus the suicide dives, it's a 5 out of 10 for me. So Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, they are now a tag team, and they had a tag team match against The Ascension. I'm not joking. Chad Gable looked absolutely amazing. I'm glad they're using him now because he is an amazing talent, and for him not to be used, I think is a bit wrong. But he is now, and he's teamed up with another amazing guy in Bobby Roode. So they're a tag team now. I see them as future tag team champions. They both looked amazing, and they won with ease against the Ascension. And I'd give the match a good 6 out of 10. So the next match was Alexa Bliss versus Natalya. Now before this match, Elias came out, basically berated Trish Stratus some more after what she did to him last week, saying that he doesn't like women that hit men, blah blah blah, and yeah, he basically said all that shit, and then he performed a song especially for Columbus. Alexa Bliss's music hits. She comes out and she's acting like a face to start with. This is what Alexa Bliss is very good at. You think, oh my god, she's actually just gonna say, not a face term, but she's actually just gonna be like talking as a face, because obviously Elias is a heel, so you'd think she'd be the face in the situation, with Columbus being her hometown. Now at first she starts defending Columbus, saying this is my hometown, this is where I grew up, I graduated high school in this very building, blah blah blah. And then she says we've got a chant here, and she gets the crowd involved, and then she turns on the crowd, of course, and says, that proves that they're the sheep that I always said they were, blah blah blah, and then says that she couldn't wait to get out of the dump that is Columbus, and so there was that segment, and then that led into Alexa Bliss versus Natalya, which Alexa Bliss won. It was a good match. Wish it had gone on a bit longer. Alexa Bliss won. I'd give it a good 5 out of 10, personally. So then, the Raw Tag Team Championship match: Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre versus the B Team. Now, at first it was supposed to be the Revival versus the B Team for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Now, I was looking forward to that match because I thought, you know what? I'm not the biggest fan of the Revival, but I'm looking forward to seeing if they finally get that championship win. And then Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, because they think it's their show now and they're taking over, they're basically trying to act like the Shield, where they're not going to listen to authority, blah blah blah. Well, they came in. Well, Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, and Braun Strowman all went into Baron Corbin's office, the temporary general manager, and basically they were demanding competition. And Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre demanded a Raw Tag Team Championship match, seen as Dolph wasn't able to invoke his rematch against Seth, which he was hoping to do on Raw. With obviously Seth been arrested along with the rest of the Shield, he couldn't do that. So they demanded that match. Baron Corbin said, look, on any other night I would do that, but because the Revival are already in a Raw Tag Team Championship match, that's not possible. So then, obviously, Drew and Dolph Ziggler alluded to the fact that what if they weren't ready to go? What if something happened to them? And Baron was like, well, obviously I'd have to make alternative arrangements. Obviously, they were alluding to the fact that they were going to attack them. Well, lo and behold, commercial after, and then Raw comes back after the commercial, and what do you know? The Revival are talking to Renee. Now, this was obviously a setup for them to be attacked. They were attacked. They were out of the Raw Tag Team Championship match, and Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler got rewarded with a Tag Team Championship match for doing that, which really pissed me off. You shouldn't be rewarded for attacking somebody. You should be reprimanded. But of course, because we've got Baron Corbin as the general manager at the moment, and he's a heel, it sucks basically, because obviously he's going to be on the heel side all the time. I just can't wait for Kurt Angle to come back. I think he will come back, because if they were going to get rid of him, they would have just fired him. I think he will come back. I think he just needs a break. I think realistically, he's run on every single Monday Night Raw for since he became general manager. I don't think he's actually had a week off. So for him to have worked that long without having any Raw off, I think it's quite valid that he deserves a vacation. So I hope he's back on Monday. It's not said when he's going to be back, but I hope he's back Monday. We'll see. But yeah, anyway. So Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre versus the B Team. Unfortunately, Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler won, becoming the new Raw Tag Team champions, which really pissed me off. But this is where it leads interesting, because they attacked the Revival, so the Revival are obviously going to be very pissed off and going to want a championship match. So does this allude to a Revival face turn? Because I think it would be quite easy to do, because a lot of people like the Revival, they respect them, they respect their ability, blah blah blah. Is this going to lead into a Revival face turn? Because it's not going to be a face turn for Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, no way, because they're the biggest heels on Raw at the moment, so that's not going to happen. But the Revival could very well have a face turn, because they've been heels for, well, I guess they were heels in NXT, and they've been heels ever since they came up to the main roster, so maybe it is time for a face turn, but we'll see what happens there. But yeah, the match, it weren't the greatest match. I'd give it a 5 out of 10. Definitely. So then, then it cuts to a backstage segment. After the commercial, it comes back and it cuts to a backstage segment with the Authors of Pain. And they're walking with Drake Maverick, the general manager of 205 Live. And he's wearing the same stuff, the same kind of attire that the AOP wear. And they come out to the ring, and basically Drake Maverick says that he's now the manager of the Authors of Pain. Now, at first I thought maybe this is a face turn, because as far as I know, Drake Maverick is supposed to be a face. That didn't happen, but I'll explain a bit later in the show how I know what happened for me to know 100% that that's not going to happen. So, yeah, so they had a match. They defeated local talent. It was going to happen. Boring match, 3 out of 10, because it was a squash match. It was just boring. So then we have the best segment of the whole show, which was Shawn Michaels turning up, basically slating The Undertaker, saying that Triple H is going to win. Not easy, but he's going to win. Saying that he's got more in the tank than Undertaker, blah, blah, blah. That's true. I'm not going to deny. Triple H is still in very good shape, and he must have more in the tank than The Undertaker. Even though The Undertaker, he's not in the greatest of shape, but he's still around, but he hasn't got as much in the tank as Triple H has. It's a fact. So that was, fair enough. So Shawn Michaels was going to say that Shawn Michaels was saying, "Oh, Triple H is going to beat Undertaker," but he didn't just say it in that way. He kept saying, he said, the cerebral assassin is going to cerebrally assassinate the Undertaker, and then he was like, "Oh, Undertaker, you haven't got as much in the tank as Triple H anymore," blah blah blah. And then Undertaker showed up in a big surprise, because I'd never even read. I mean, it might not have been a surprise to other people who had read the rumours that he was supposed to turn up. I had not read any rumour or watched any videos about a rumour of him showing up for this Raw at all. I hadn't even seen it as a possibility. But I thought when Shawn Michaels was starting to slate the Undertaker, that is Undertaker going to show up? Because Undertaker's not going to take this slating from Shawn Michaels lying down, is he? Shawn Michaels also announced that he was going to be in Melbourne, Australia. Surprise, surprise. And with what went down in the segment, basically, Undertaker came out and said, "Michaels, this has just became personal. The reason why you're saying Triple H is going to win is because I ended your career." Shawn Michaels basically said, "Do you really think that's the reason why I'm saying that? The reason why, the reason why I've stayed retired all these years, unlike other people." I mean, he didn't say it in them words, but he was basically saying, unlike other people who have said they're going to retire and then come back, he said the reason why I've stuck to my word is because I'm a man of honour, I'm a man of my word, and I stayed retired out of respect for the business, out of respect for the fans, and out of respect for the Undertaker. The Undertaker said, Undertaker said, "Is it out of respect or is it out of fear that you've stayed retired?" He said, "You know as well as I know that if you came out of retirement, the first person you'd come after, or the only person you'd come after, would be me, and I would put you down all over again. And another thing you know is when I face Triple H in Melbourne, Australia, I will put him down again." Now this is very interesting for me, because usually when you have these segments of people slagging each other off and slating each other and saying all these things, usually it leads to a match. But now you've got to think, obviously Shawn Michaels is retired. He stayed retired. He hasn't come out of retirement out of respect for the Undertaker. But now Undertaker's saying it's not respect. So is Shawn going to think, well, fuck it. If Undertaker doesn't think I'm that I've stayed retired out of respect for him, I'm going to teach him a lesson and come out of retirement and have a match. I don't know. It's very interesting. I know for a fact now that Shawn Michaels is going to cost the Undertaker the match in Melbourne, Australia, against Triple H, and it's going to help Triple H win. And once that happens, again, Undertaker's not going to take that line down. And in any other usual kind of situation, it would lead to a match. But will it? Will it lead to another Undertaker Shawn Michaels match? Will it? Because Shawn Michaels has stayed retired all these years, and he's in a great shape, top of his body, but apparently his legs are basically fucking shot. So will he even be able to physically come back and have a match at WrestleMania next year? I don't know. I mean, I can't say that WWE would have asked him to come back every single year, which they have, which he revealed that they had. It asked him every single year to come back and have a match at WrestleMania, and he turned down millions and millions of dollars out of respect for the business and Undertaker. So they wouldn't be asking him year after year after year to come back and have a match if he was that shot, if he was that fucked. Why he wouldn't even be medically cleared to come back. Never mind, anything else. So yeah, very interesting segment. I don't know what's going to happen. I know for a fact that Shawn Michaels is going to cost the Undertaker the match at WrestleMania. At the Super Showdown. But will it go any further? Because Undertaker, he's always been a man of revenge. If you've done something to him, he's always, whether it be months later, come back to you and got his revenge. He did it with Brock Lesnar. He left it a whole year and a half before he got his revenge for Brock Lesnar ending his streak. But he still, he still went back to Brock Lesnar and got his revenge. So if Shawn Michaels costs Undertaker the match at Super Showdown against Triple H, is Undertaker really going to be like, whatever, and take it lying down? Or is he going to do what he always does and gets his revenge? Now, he's already pissed Shawn Michaels off by saying, it's out of fear that you've stayed retired. So Shawn Michaels is already going to be like, for fuck's sake, I'm not scared of you, Undertaker. And he's going to want to prove that he's not scared of Undertaker. So is it really going to result in a match at WrestleMania between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker? It might possibly be. Because it's too much of a coincidence that there's a last time ever match between Triple H and Undertaker, and the era has started again, and Shawn Michaels is going to be at Melbourne for the match. It's all these different coincidences. It's too much. So is it going to be a last time ever match between Shawn Michaels and Undertaker? So for me, I would say that half of me wants this match to happen for nostalgia reasons, but half of me for the memories of the great match that they had the last time they fought, which was when Shawn Michaels' career ended. It was a great match, so for the memories, I don't want this match to happen, but for the nostalgia, I do want this match to happen. Because the thing is, Undertaker, obviously, he's not as good as he used to be, he's not got as much in the tank as he used to have, but with the right person, carrying him in the match, he will be fine. He needs the right person to carry him in a match, and Triple H will carry him in the match at Super Showdown in Melbourne. And that will be good because Triple H has still got enough in the tank to be able to do that. But you've got to ask the question, if they do have a match, Shawn Michaels and Undertaker at WrestleMania, will Shawn Michaels be able to carry Undertaker in that match? The good thing for Undertaker in that match is Shawn Michaels is quite light, so he won't have any problem picking him up. Whereas some of the other people that if he was to face somebody else who was quite heavy, so let's say he went against Brock Lesnar again, he wouldn't be able to get Brock Lesnar up properly anymore because of his hips and all, and everything like that. So you know, I don't know. It's very interesting. I'm very much looking forward to seeing where this whole situation goes. Very much so. I'd give the segment a very solid 9.5 out of 10. It was an amazing segment, and because I hadn't read anything about The Undertaker possibly returning for that role, it was a complete surprise for me, because nowadays everything is told in advance. So Mick Foley returning for next week's Raw, told in advance on this week's Raw. Triple H going to be on next week's Raw, told in advance. Although it's not really a return for Triple H because he's already returned. You know, Shawn Michaels, he was returning for the first time in a long time. It was already told. But and usually when Undertaker returns, it's like Undertaker tonight on Raw, or Undertaker next week on Raw. It's told in advance. Whereas that wasn't, even though it was rumoured on the internet and there was rumours circulating on the internet, WWE hadn't actually physically said anything that he was going to return. So it was good that they left it as a surprise, because there's not many surprise returns these days, because most of the returns are already said, they're said in advance. So, but anyway, I've kind of dwelled on that segment long enough, but that's because I love that segment so much. But moving on to the next segment, on the next match. So the next match is Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Dana Brooke and Ember Moon. And it was a good match. I give it a 6 out of 10. No, I wouldn't. I'd give it a 5 out of 10, like I've given for a few of the other matches. It was a decent match. Basically, Banks won with a roll-up when Dana Brooke was distracted by the members of Titus Worldwide, Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews. After the match, Dana Brooke quit Titus Worldwide. Sasha Banks and Bayley ended up defeating Dana Brooke and Ember Moon. If you just make that clear if you didn't know. So, the next segment was a weird one. It was Bobby Lashley. He'd been directed by temporary general manager Baron Corbin to have a meditation. Do some meditation in the ring with Jinder Mahal, because Baron Corbin believes Bobby Lashley's got anger problems. So Bobby Lashley went along with it, and he was in the ring and he was doing the whole shanty thing. And then Kevin Owens, who quit last week, is already back, and he attacked Bobby Lashley, which is going to lead to a match between him and Bobby Lashley at Hell in a Cell, most probably. Now this pissed me off a bit, because Kevin Owens needs to go away for an extended period of time. Now hear me out before, because I know what all of you are going to be saying now when you're watching this video. Now that I've just said that, you're going to say, what are you talking about, Tom? Kevin Owens is awesome. He needs to be in WWE, blah, blah. Yes, he does. And he is an amazing talent on the mic in the ring. But he's become stale. For me, he's become stale. He's become boring. I just... Not because... And it's not because I don't like him, because I do like him. I respect his ability on the mic, I respect his ability in the ring. That is why I like him, because he can put on a really good match. But when he quit, I thought, yes. Not because I didn't like him, but because I was happy that he quit. I knew he hadn't really quit. I thought, yes, WWE doing this so that he can go away, have some rest, come back, new character, new character, freshen him up, blah, blah, blah. So I thought, yeah, this is going to be good. No, he's back on the next week's Raw. What is the point of having a segment with him saying, I quit, and then coming back a week later? Maybe leave it a couple of weeks, at least, but to say I quit and then be on the Raw the very next week is just fucking stupid. It pissed me off beyond belief. And it's not really directed at Kevin Owens that I'm pissed off, because I know obviously he's just following a storyline. It's WWE that pissed me off with it, because why have a storyline that was quite interesting with Kevin Owens quitting, and then all of a sudden, have him back on next week's Raw? That could have gone somewhere. He could have gone away for a little bit, got his character freshened up, and come back, because that's what he needs. That is what he needs. But anyway, he's back, and he's going to be in a match with Bobby Lashley at Hell in a Cell. Also, Lita versus Mickie James was announced for Evolution. So, the final match of the night was Braun Strowman versus Finn Balor. Now, it was supposed to be Baron Corbin versus Finn Balor, but Baron Corbin was like, oh, I'm so busy that I've just not got time to have a match. And Braun Strowman wanted competition, so Baron Corbin was like, Finn, you can face Braun. So, Strowman ended up winning the match with a power slam. It was quite a good match. I'd give it a good 6 out of 10. And yeah, it was a good match. I say it was a good match. It was 6 out of 10 in my opinion. I'd say I'd go as far as to say 7 out of 10. So after the match, Strowman, McIntyre, and Ziggler beat up Balor until the Shield returned in the police van that they were taken away in. Of course, they were going to return. So they look like the Shield are walking down to the ring, and it looks like the three the members of the Shield were going to attack Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, and Braun Strowman, and then all of a sudden, all the heels on Monday Night Raw, or majority of the heels on Monday Night Raw, come out and attack the Shield. So it was basically a beatdown of the Shield. Now, I don't know why this happened. I don't know what everybody's got against the Shield. I know they're heels and they're supposed to have something against all faces, even though, most faces haven't done anything to them. But they came out, they attacked the Shield, and I was left confused at the end of Raw. I was like, where is this going? What the fuck just happened? Why did all the heels attack the Shield? Why couldn't they just leave it and let the Shield attack Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman, and Dolph Ziggler? Why? I was left very confused. But that's how Raw ended. So for me, overall, I give Raw this week a 8 out of 10. The best Raw I've seen in a very long time, and yeah, it was great, especially the segment with the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, because it wasn't just a segment, but it left a lot of questions that I'm asking myself, and it left a very interesting couple of months, and yeah, that was interesting, and a few of the other things that happened on Raw left a few questions for me to ask, and very interesting couple of months, weeks, whatever. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing what goes on Monday Night Raw next week. So I hope you enjoyed this WWE review. If you want more WWE reviews like this, or you want to see reaction videos from me, hit the subscription button down below. As far as doing SmackDown Live reviews, I'm still on a no-go on that, because last week's WWE reviews with Tom Burns episode 1 didn't exactly go down very well. I think I've got like 3 views on it, which I'm not happy with. A bit pissed off, to be honest, that it didn't get more. Not because I expected it to get more. I don't know why I'm annoyed by it. I suppose it's just because it's not got many views. I mean, anybody that's a YouTuber wants to put videos out that gets a lot of views. And some of the videos that I put out, like my Markiplier trying not to laugh challenge 16, I reacted to that. That's got 1.3k views at the recording of this video. So, and then you've got other videos that I've put out that have got like 5-6 views, and then my episode 1 of WWE reviews with Tom Burns got like 3 views. Of course I'm not going to be happy with it. I wouldn't say I'm pissed off. I'd just say I'm not happy with the views that I've got on that video, which is understandable. But anyway, until when or if I get better views on these WWE reviews, that's when I'll start doing the SmackDown reviews. But for the time being, it's a no-go, because my episode 1 didn't go down very well last week, and I don't know how episode 2 is going to go down. But yeah, anyway, I've been going on a long time. This video is nearly 30 minutes long. I didn't expect to do a review that was nearly 30 minutes long, but there we go. I hope you enjoyed this video, as I said, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.